Welcome to ZENLIGHT, where we uncover the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to guide you through life's toughest challenges and empower your journey of self-improvement. Today, we're diving into a truth so profound, so unexpected, that it could shift the way you see yourself and the toxic relationships that once held you back. Imagine this: a single action so powerful it not only frees you from the grip of a narcissist, but haunts them with the realization that they underestimated your strength. This isn't just a story, it's a roadmap to reclaiming your peace, your power, and your purpose. Stick with us until the end, because we're not just sharing insights. We're giving you practical tools you can apply today to break free, heal, and thrive in a world that often feels chaotic. Let's embark on this journey together. Subscribe to ZENLIGHT, hit that notification bell, and let's get started. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a storm, one that's been raging around you for far too long. The winds of manipulation, the thunder of self-doubt, and the relentless rain of emotional chaos have left you soaked, weary, and questioning everything you thought you knew about yourself. This storm wasn't an accident. It was crafted deliberately by someone who thrived on your confusion, someone who fed on your kindness, someone who never expected you to step out of their chaos and into your own power. That someone is a narcissist, and the action they never saw coming. It's your awakening. It's the moment you choose to see them for who they truly are, to reclaim your strength, and to walk away from their toxic grip with a clarity that reshapes your life forever. Welcome to ZENLIGHT, where we're not just talking about surviving, we're talking about thriving. Using the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to guide us through the darkest storms and into a life of purpose and peace. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, taught us a truth that rings as true today in the hustle of modern America as it did in ancient Rome. We cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. In the context of a toxic relationship, this truth is your lifeline. Narcissists operate on a predictable yet insidious foundation. They believe you'll remain trapped in their web, endlessly trying to please them, forever questioning your worth. They count on your confusion, your loyalty, your willingness to give them one more chance because that's their fuel. But here's the thing they didn't anticipate. You're not the same person you were when they first drew you in. You've grown wiser, stronger, and more resilient. The very fact that you're here, listening to this, seeking answers, is proof that you're already breaking free. This is the action they never saw coming. Your decision to educate yourself, to see through their illusions, and to choose yourself over their chaos. Let's take a moment to reflect, because reflection is where growth begins. Think back to that relationship, whether it was a partner, a friend, or even a family member. How did it make you feel? Maybe you felt drained, like every ounce of your energy was poured into someone who gave nothing back. Maybe you felt small, like your dreams and your worth were buried under their constant criticism or indifference. Perhaps you lost sleep, missed opportunities, or even sacrificed your health, all in the hope that they'd change, that they'd see your value. The Stoics would urge us to look at this moment with honesty, without judgment. There's no shame in having loved deeply, in having trusted fully, in having believed in someone's potential. That's not weakness, that's humanity. But here's where the shift happens. You're no longer blind to their patterns. You're beginning to see that their behavior wasn't about you. It was about them, their emptiness, their need to control. Let me paint a picture from real life to ground this. Imagine a woman named Emily, living in a bustling city like Chicago, working a demanding job, juggling bills, and trying to keep her life together. She meets someone, a charming colleague who seems to understand her, who showers her with attention and makes her feel seen. But over time, that charm fades. He starts dismissing her ideas, ignoring her texts for days, then reappearing with apologies that feel rehearsed. She gives more, her time, her energy, even her savings to help him through tough times. But no matter how much she gives, it's never enough. He criticizes her for being too emotional, then demands her support when he's down. She's exhausted, but she stays, thinking, if I just try harder, he'll change. Sound familiar? Emily's story is one I've heard countless times, and maybe it echoes your own. But here's the turning point. One day, Emily stumbles across a term online: narcissism. She starts reading, listening, learning, and in that moment, the fog begins to lift. She realizes she's not the problem. She's not too much, or not enough. She's been caught in a cycle designed to keep her trapped. This is where Stoicism becomes more than philosophy. It becomes a practical tool for liberation. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." For Emily, and for you, this means recognizing that you can't change the narcissist. You can't make them see your worth or take responsibility for their actions. But you can change how you respond. You can choose to stop pouring your energy into a bottomless pit. You can choose to set boundaries, to say no, to walk away. This is the action the narcissist never expected: your refusal to play their game. They thought you'd stay tethered to their chaos, forever chasing their approval. But you're not. You're stepping out of the storm, and that alone is a victory. Now let's make this real for today's world. In 2025, we're surrounded by noise, social media, endless notifications, the pressure to be everything to everyone. Narcissists thrive in this environment, using platforms like Instagram or X to project their charm and draw in new sources of validation. But you have a choice. You can apply Stoic principles right now to protect your peace. Start small. Unfollow that toxic ex on social media. Stop checking their posts on X to see if they're happier without you. Set a boundary with that friend who only calls when they need something. These aren't just actions, they're declarations of your worth. Every time you choose yourself, you're rewriting the story the narcissist tried to write for you. You're proving them wrong. This awakening isn't about vengeance or bitterness, it's about empowerment. The Stoics teach us that what stands in the way becomes the way. The pain, the confusion, the betrayal, they're not just obstacles, they're teachers. They've shown you what you're capable of enduring, and now they're showing you what you're capable of becoming. You're not just surviving, you're building a life rooted in clarity, purpose, and freedom. The narcissist never thought you'd get here. They didn't think you'd see through their mask, educate yourself, and choose to rise above. But you have, and that's the power of your awakening. If this resonates with you, I invite you to join our ZENLIGHT 8 community. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to keep walking this path of growth with us. Your support helps us spread this wisdom to others who are ready to break free. Now, let's dive deeper into the next part of this journey. Understanding how you got caught in the narcissist's web in the first place, and how to recognize the signs so you never fall into that trap again. Let's take a step back and imagine you're walking through a dense forest. The path is unclear, the air thick with uncertainty, and somewhere along the way, you find yourself ensnared in a trap you didn't even know was there. This isn't a forest of trees, it's the emotional landscape of a relationship with a narcissist. They didn't stumble into your life by accident. They chose you, not because of who you are, but because of what you could give them. And the scariest part, you didn't see it coming. But now, with the wisdom of Stoicism and the clarity of hindsight, you can see the trap for what it was, and more importantly, you can learn how to avoid it in the future. This is ZENLIGHT, and today we're unraveling the tactics narcissists use to pull you in and arming you with practical tools to break free and protect your peace in a world that's always trying to take it. When you first met the narcissist, it felt like a gift. Maybe it was a new partner who seemed to get you in a way no one else ever had. Maybe it was a friend who showered you with attention, making you feel like the center of their world. Or perhaps it was a family member who, for a brief moment, made you feel valued in a way you'd always craved. This wasn't random, it was calculated. Narcissists are masters of profiling, studying your dreams, your vulnerabilities, your strengths, like a predator sizing up its prey. They don't love you for you. They love what you can provide. Your compassion, your loyalty, your energy, your resources. In those early days, they mirror your values, echo your hopes, and create an illusion of connection so perfect it feels like fate. But as the Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. That perfect connection? It was a mirage designed to draw you in and keep you hooked. Let's ground this in a story. Picture Michael, a 30-year-old teacher from Seattle, full of optimism and a desire to help others. He meets Lisa at a community event, and she's everything he's ever wanted. Charming, attentive, full of stories that make him laugh. She seems to share his passion for education, his love for hiking, even his taste in music. For 3 months, it's bliss. But then things shift. Lisa starts pulling away, ignoring his calls, then reappearing with excuses that tug at his heartstrings. She's stressed, she's struggling, she needs him. Michael, being the kind, empathetic person he is, doubles down. He spends hours listening to her, cancels plans with friends to be there for her, even dips into his savings to help her with emergencies. But no matter what he does, it's never enough. She criticizes him for not being supportive enough, then goes silent for days. Michael's left wondering what he did wrong, why he's not enough. This is the narcissist's trap, love bombing, to pull you in, then devaluation to keep you off balance. The Stoics teach us to strip away illusions and see things as they truly are. That early connection with the narcissist wasn't love, it was manipulation. They didn't see you as a partner or a friend. They saw you as a source of supply, a well to draw from until it ran dry. This is where their tactics come into play. Gaslighting, silent treatment, blame shifting. Maybe they told you you're too sensitive when you called out their behavior. Maybe they disappeared for days, leaving you anxious and second-guessing yourself. Or maybe they turned the tables, making you feel guilty for their mistakes. These aren't random acts. They're deliberate, designed to destabilize you, to keep you tethered to their chaos. The Stoics would call this an external event, something beyond your control. But what is in your control? Your response. Your ability to see the trap for what it is and choose to step out of it. Here's how this applies to your life today. In our fast-paced, connected world, narcissists have more tools than ever to set their traps. They use social media to project an image of perfection, to reel in new admirers with carefully curated posts. They send cryptic texts or post vague X updates to keep you hooked, wondering what they're thinking. But you have the power to break free. Start by recognizing the signs. Love bombing that feels too good to be true. Inconsistent behavior that keeps you on edge. A constant need for validation that drains you. Once you see these patterns, you can protect yourself. Set boundaries. Maybe that means limiting contact with a toxic coworker or saying no to a family member who only calls when they need something. Use the Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control. Focus on what you can change, your actions, your mindset, and let go of what you can't, their behavior. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're dealing with a narcissist in your life right now. Maybe it's a boss who takes credit for your work, or a friend who only shows up when they need a favor. Try this. For 1 week, practice the gray rock method. Become uninteresting, unresponsive to their provocations. Don't argue, don't explain, don't engage. When they try to pull you into their drama, respond with short, neutral answers. I see, or I'll think about it. This isn't passive, it's powerful. It starves them of the reaction they crave. Combine this with a Stoic practice. Every morning, take 5 minutes to journal one thing you're grateful for about yourself. Maybe it's your resilience, your kindness, your ability to keep going. This builds your inner strength, reminding you that your worth doesn't depend on their approval. The narcissist never expected you to see through their tactics. They thought you'd stay trapped, endlessly chasing their validation. But you're smarter than that. You're learning, growing, and applying these lessons to your life. The Stoics teach us that adversity is a teacher, and this experience, as painful as it was, has given you a gift, clarity. You now know what to look for, how to protect yourself, and how to choose relationships that lift you up instead of tearing you down. You're not just escaping the trap, you're building a life where no one can trap you again. This journey isn't over yet. If you're finding value in this, I encourage you to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to ZENLIGHT 8 for more wisdom to guide your path. Next, we're going to explore the heart of the narcissist's game, their emptiness, their patterns, and why their actions were never about you. Let's keep going. Step into a room filled with mirrors, each one reflecting a different version of the same person. They're charming, confident, commanding attention with every word and gesture. But as you get closer, you notice something unsettling. The mirrors are cracked, the reflections distorted, and behind them, there's nothing but a void. This is the narcissist's world, a carefully constructed illusion hiding a truth they can never face, their own emptiness. Here at ZENLIGHT, we're peeling back those mirrors, using the wisdom of Stoicism to reveal who narcissists really are, not to vilify them, but to free you from their grip. Understanding their true nature is the key to letting go of the pain they caused and building a life where you're no longer defined by their chaos. Narcissists don't just walk into your life, they storm in, leaving a trail of destruction that feels personal, but isn't. To the outside world, they might seem larger than life, charismatic, successful, unshakably confident. But the Stoics teach us to look beyond appearances, to see things as they truly are. Beneath the narcissist's polished exterior lies a fragile, insecure core, a void they spend their lives trying to fill. They can't sit still with themselves, can't face the silence of self-reflection, because to do so would mean confronting their weaknesses. Instead, they build masks, charm, arrogance, victimhood, shifting personas to suit their needs. They're not strong, they're brittle. Their need to control, to dominate, to take, comes from a deep-seated fear of their own inadequacy. Let's bring this to life with a story. Consider Rachel, a small business owner in Austin, Texas, who hires a new manager named Tom. Tom's resume sparkles, his interviews are flawless, and he exudes confidence that wins over the team. For the first few weeks, he's a dream, praising Rachel's vision, rallying the staff, bringing in new clients. But soon, cracks appear. He takes credit for Rachel's ideas, blames her for his mistakes, and sows discord among the team. When she confronts him, he turns the tables, accusing her of being too controlling or not trusting enough. Rachel starts doubting herself, wondering if she's the problem. This is the narcissist's playbook. Project their flaws onto you, keep you off balance, and feed off your confusion. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, would remind us that no one can harm us unless we let them. The narcissist's actions, their criticism, their silence, their betrayal, are not a reflection of your worth but a symptom of their emptiness. They manipulate because they're weak, not because you're lacking. On some level, they know this. There are fleeting moments when they glimpse their own insincerity, their own limitations. But instead of facing them, they run. They double down on deception, seeking new sources of validation, new partners, new friends, new admirers to fill the void. This is why they move on so quickly, discarding you like you never mattered. But here's the truth. Their discard isn't about you. It's about their inability to connect, to care, to grow. In today's world, this pattern is amplified. Narcissists thrive in environments like social media, where they can curate their image and collect likes, followers, and attention with a few clicks. They post selfies from their latest vacation, vague updates about moving on, or stories that paint them as victims or heroes. But you can see through this now. You can apply Stoic wisdom to protect yourself. Start by focusing on what's in your control. You can't stop them from posting, from manipulating others, from living their lie. But you can stop engaging. Unfollow them. Block their number, refuse to check their X profile to see who they're with now. This isn't about cutting them out of spite. It's about reclaiming your mental space. Here's a practical step for 2025. Create a focus list. Write down 3 things that matter to you. Maybe your career, your health, your relationships with people who truly value you. Every time you're tempted to dwell on the narcissist, redirect your energy to one of those priorities. If you're working on your health, go for a 30-minute walk. That's about half a mile for most folks. and listen to a podcast that lifts you up. If it's your career, spend an hour updating your LinkedIn or learning a new skill. This is Stoicism in action, focusing on what you can control, letting go of what you can't. The narcissist wants you to stay stuck, obsessing over their actions. Don't give them that power. Understanding their emptiness also frees you from guilt. You might have spent months, even years, wondering why you weren't enough, why you couldn't fix them. But the Stoics teach us that we can't change others, only ourselves. The narcissist's inability to love, to reciprocate, to grow isn't your failure, it's theirs. You gave your best, and that's something to be proud of. Now give that same energy to yourself. Start small. Set one boundary this week, like saying no to a request that doesn't serve you. Celebrate that as a victory. It's proof you're moving forward, building a life where your peace comes first. The narcissist never thought you'd see them for what they are. They didn't expect you to peel back their mask, to recognize their patterns, to choose yourself. But you have. And that's the power of understanding their true nature. It sets you free. If this is hitting home, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What's one boundary you're ready to set? Share it with our ZENLIGHT 8 community, and let's support each other. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to keep growing with us. Next, we're going to talk about the journey of healing, how to rebuild after the storm and turn your pain into power. Let's keep moving forward. You've walked through the storm, felt its sting, and carried its weight. The chaos of a narcissistic relationship left scars, some visible, some buried deep within. But here's the beautiful truth. Those scars aren't just reminders of pain. They're proof of your resilience. They're the raw material for a transformation so profound it redefines who you are and what you're capable of. Welcome back to ZENLIGHT 8, where we're using Stoic wisdom to guide you from surviving to thriving. Today, we're diving into the heart of healing. How to rebuild after the narcissist's storm, how to turn your pain into power, and how to create a life where you're no longer defined by what they took from you, but by what you've reclaimed. Healing isn't a straight line. It's not a checklist you complete in a week or a month. It's a journey, one that demands courage, patience, and a commitment to yourself. The Stoics, like Epictetus, teach us that adversity is a forge, shaping us into stronger versions of ourselves. The narcissist tried to break you, but they didn't. You're still here, standing, breathing, seeking answers. That alone is a triumph. But let's be real. The aftermath of a toxic relationship can feel like a battlefield. Maybe you're dealing with anxiety that keeps you up at night, or self-doubt that creeps in when you least expect it. Maybe you've lost friends, drained your savings, or even questioned your ability to trust again. These are real wounds, and they deserve to be acknowledged, but they don't define you. They're stepping stones to something greater. Let's ground this in a story. Meet Sarah, a 40-year-old nurse from Denver who spent a decade married to a narcissist. For years, she poured everything into her marriage, her time, her energy, her dreams, hoping her husband would see her value. But he didn't. He criticized her parenting, dismissed her career, and isolated her from friends. When she finally left, she felt like a shadow of herself, exhausted, broke, and unsure if she could ever rebuild. But Sarah did something powerful. She started small. She began journaling every night, writing down one thing she was proud of, like getting through a tough shift at the hospital. She set boundaries, like refusing to respond to her ex's manipulative texts. She sought therapy, not as a sign of weakness, but as a commitment to her healing. Over time, those small steps added up. Sarah rediscovered her strength, her purpose, her joy. Today, she's not just surviving, she's thriving, mentoring other nurses and living a life she never thought possible. This is what Stoicism offers us, a framework for turning pain into power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The narcissist's chaos was an impediment, but it's also your path to growth. Every moment of pain taught you something. How to recognize manipulation, how to value your own worth, how to say no. These aren't just lessons, they're tools you can use right now. Let's make this practical for 2025. Start with a daily Stoic practice. Every morning, spend 5 minutes reflecting on what's in your control. Maybe it's how you spend your lunch break. Take a 10-minute walk, about 0.2 miles at a leisurely pace, to clear your mind. Maybe it's choosing to spend time with people who lift you up, like joining a local book club or connecting with supportive friends on X. These small choices build momentum, proving to yourself that you're not just healing, you're growing. Healing also means letting go of what you can't control. You can't change the narcissist's actions, their words, or their choices. You can't undo the past, the late-night arguments, the financial strain, the moments you felt invisible. But you can choose how you move forward. Try this. Create a release ritual. Write down one thing the narcissist made you feel, maybe unworthy or exhausted, and then burn the paper, safely of course. As it turns to ash, tell yourself, this no longer defines me. This isn't just symbolic, it's a declaration of your power. You're not erasing the past. You're reclaiming your future. In today's world, healing is more important than ever. We're bombarded with pressure to perform, to compare, to be enough. Narcissists exploit this, making you feel like you're falling short. But Stoicism reminds us that your worth isn't tied to external validation. It's within you. Build a life that reflects that. Maybe that means setting a goal for 2025, like running a 5K, that's 3.1 miles, to reclaim your physical strength, or taking an online course to boost your career. Surround yourself with people who see your value. Join communities on X or local groups where you can share your story and support others. These steps aren't just about healing. They're about creating a life where you're the hero of your own story. The narcissist never thought you'd heal. They believed you'd stay broken, forever tied to their chaos. But you're proving them wrong every day. You're not just rebuilding. You're becoming someone stronger, wiser, more resilient. The Stoics teach us that our greatest power lies in our ability to choose our response. You've chosen to heal, to grow, to rise. That's a victory they can never take away. If this resonates, share your story in the comments. What's one step you're taking to heal? Let's inspire each other in the ZENLIGHT 8 community. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to keep growing with us. Next, we're going to wrap up with a powerful truth about your freedom and how to live it fully. Let's finish strong. You've walked through the storm, seen the narcissist's true nature, and begun the work of healing. Now you stand at a crossroads, not as a victim, but as a warrior forged by adversity. The narcissist thought they could define you, control you, break you, but they were wrong. Your greatest power isn't in changing them, it's in mastering yourself. Welcome to the final chapter of this journey on ZENLIGHT 8, where we're using Stoic wisdom to claim a life of freedom, purpose, and unshakable peace. Today, we're talking about living beyond the narcissist's reach, building a future where your joy, your strength, and your clarity are yours to keep. Freedom, in the Stoic sense, isn't about escaping external challenges. It's about mastering your inner world. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The narcissist wanted you to believe your freedom depended on their approval, their attention, their presence. They wanted you tethered to their chaos, forever chasing a version of love or validation they could never give. But you've broken those chains. You've seen their emptiness, recognized their tactics, and chosen to step out of their storm. This is your liberation, not a moment of revenge, but a quiet, powerful declaration that you are enough. Let's make this real with a final story. Meet James, a 35-year-old graphic designer from Los Angeles, who spent years in a friendship with a narcissist. His friend, Alex, was the life of every party, always drawing James in with grand plans and promises of collaboration. But over time, Alex's true colors showed. He took credit for James's designs, dismissed his ideas, and disappeared when James needed support. When James finally cut contact, he felt lost, like he'd lost a part of himself. But he turned to Stoicism, inspired by a quote from Marcus Aurelius. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." James started small. He set boundaries with other toxic people in his life. Like a co-worker who constantly criticized him, he focused on what he could control: his work, his health, his relationships. He joined a local art community, ran a half marathon, 13.1 miles, and started sharing his designs on X, building a following who valued his talent. Today, James isn't just free from Alex. He's free to be himself. This is your invitation to live that freedom. In 2025, the world moves fast. X posts fly by, work demands pile up, and the pressure to keep up can feel overwhelming. But you have the power to choose what matters. Start with a Stoic practice. Every evening, take 10 minutes to reflect on your day. Ask yourself, what did I do today that honored my worth? Maybe it was saying no to a draining conversation, or spending an hour on a hobby you love, like painting or hiking a local trail, maybe a 2-mile loop near your home. These moments build a life where you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Freedom also means letting go of the need for closure. Narcissists don't give closure. They can't. To do so would require self-awareness, accountability, things they lack. But you don't need their apology to move forward. You don't need their validation to know your worth. Try this. Write a letter to yourself, not to them. Write about the strength you found, the lessons you've learned, the life you're building. Keep it somewhere safe, like a journal, and revisit it when you need a reminder of how far you've come. This is Stoicism in action. Finding peace within yourself, regardless of external events. In today's world, freedom means protecting your energy. Maybe that's setting a boundary with a family member who guilt trips you, or limiting your screen time to avoid the narcissist's latest X post. Maybe it's investing in yourself, taking a course on Coursera to boost your skills, or joining a community on X where people share your values. Every choice you make to prioritize yourself is a step toward a life where the narcissist has no power. They thought you'd stay broken, forever tied to their chaos. But you've proven them wrong. You're not just free, you're unstoppable. Here, we are at the end of this journey, but really, it's just the beginning. You've walked through the storm of a narcissistic relationship, seen the truth behind their mask, and chosen to heal, to grow, to reclaim your power. The Stoics teach us that life's challenges don't break us, they shape us. The pain you've endured, the lessons you've learned, the strength you've discovered, they're all part of who you are now. You're not defined by what the narcissist took from you. You're defined by what you've built, what you've reclaimed, what you've become. This is your triumph, and no one can take it away. In 2025, life moves at a relentless pace. Notifications ping, deadlines loom, and the world demands your attention. But you have the power to choose where your energy goes. Start small. Set one boundary this week, like saying no to a request that doesn't serve you. Practice gratitude daily. Write down one thing you're proud of, whether it's finishing a 3-mile run or simply getting through a tough day. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Join a local group, connect on X, or reach out to an old friend. These choices aren't just actions, they're declarations of your freedom. Live intentionally, protect your peace, and never stop growing. If this journey has resonated with you, I invite you to join our ZENLIGHT 8 community. Hit that like button to show your support, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to keep growing with us. Your support helps us spread this wisdom to others who are ready to break free. And let's keep the conversation going. Drop a comment below and share one step you're taking to reclaim your power. Maybe it's a boundary you're setting, a goal you're chasing, or a lesson you've learned. Your story matters, and it could inspire someone else in our community. Thank you for being here, for choosing growth, for choosing yourself. Let's keep walking this path together on ZENLIGHT 8.